Emad Kiyaei is the executive director of the American-Iranian Council and a researcher at Princeton University. Emad, good to have you back on the program. What exactly did the IAEA find in its inspections?
Well, the latest report is damaging, but what it's been revealed is nothing new. I mean,
So before you go.
Yeah, sure.
Damaging. Explain to me the damaging part.
Well, it's coming at a critical time when we are trying to go the final mile before the March 24th deadline for a political agreement. So hence, of course, it's not going to be good news for the negotiations.
And what the IAEA is saying is that we can't get full transparency from Iran, correct?
Well, this is...
We're being stonewalled. We're not getting the answers that we're looking for.
Correct. But there is a caveat, and this is a caveat. This is possible military dimension issues, or PMDs. These
PMDs stand for what?
Possible military dimension issues that the IAEA is bringing to the fore to discuss with the Iranians. But they predate even these negotiations. These are 2003 and before, and they were brought up constantly throughout these years. But what it requires for this access to happen, for the IAEA to have full access to the Iranian nuclear program, there needs to be a deal first which provides the mechanisms and the framework for the IAEA to enter these sites. Currently, the IAEA does have unprecedented access to Iranian nuclear facilities, but what they're asking for is to go beyond what is agreeable on any international arrangement.
And so that's why you're saying that, in a real sense, there's nothing new here.
There's nothing new.
Okay, so what's the potential impact on negotiations? They're underway now. The heavy hitters arrive, as John just mentioned, next week.
Definitely there will be a damper on the negotiations. However, there needs to be understanding this is two parallel tracks. What has been negotiated between the P5+1 world powers and Iran over its nuclear program is the current status quo and how it will look like in the future. What mechanisms of verification, transparency and monitoring we can put onto the Iranian nuclear program and in return remove the sanctions. The IAEA itself has an agreement with the Iranians that is separate from the P5+1. These are two dual-track negotiations happening at the same time.
Okay, so we get this issue, we get this report from the IAEA just at the moment when the sides are coming back together again. Where did the suspicions come from that led to this inquiry from the IAEA?
What is interesting is the timing exactly, because this is nothing new again. So why do they sort of like...
So what do you think?
Well, I believe that there are some parties that do not want a nuclear
deal. Don't give me some parties. What parties?
Well, we can guess, and the most open one is the Israelis and some other regional powers such as Saudi Arabia who see the nuclear deal as an opening between US and Iran on not just a nuclear file, but possibly on more regional security and stability issues.
So Israel is so set against the idea of a deal that it does not approve of. I've got to ask the question. I know on the face of it, it seems silly. But does Israel have veto power over any agreement?
Of course not.
Through the offices of the United States?
Well, currently, I don't think it's got that much access to the Obama administration's office. So I believe that Netanyahu does want to push for a derailing of the current negotiations, but I do not foresee it happening because all of these parties, the P5+1 and Iran, have put so much political capital into this process that they cannot track back on this.
Do you expect the deal to take place, to happen in, what, the next 5 or 6 weeks?
I'm always optimistic, but we've been here before. But I think that, again, this deal on March 24th is only the first step towards a comprehensive deal in July 1st.
Emad Kiyaei is the executive director of the American-Iranian Council and a researcher at Princeton University. Always good to see you.
Thanks
for your time. Have a great weekend.